Today we're talking about someone you definitely know, and his kids, who you might think you know. We're diving into the world of Johnny Depp, not his movies or court drama, but something much more personal, his role as a father. Johnny Depp has two children with French singer and actress Vanessa Paradis, and while one of them has become a rising star in her own right, the other has chosen a quieter, more private life. We're going to look at both, Lily-Rose Depp and her younger brother Jack Depp. Who are they? What are they up to? What kind of relationship do they have with their famous father? Let's get into the full story. Before the tabloid chaos, before the courtrooms, there was Vanessa Paradis, the woman who was by Johnny Depp's side for over a decade, and the mother of his children. Johnny met Vanessa in 1998 in Paris while filming. It was one of those love-at-first-sight moments you hear about but rarely believe. He later described seeing her across a room, her back turned to him, her neck, her walk, and just knowing. And from that moment, everything changed. At the time, Depp was known as Hollywood's rebellious heartthrob, bouncing between roles and relationships. But with Vanessa, things felt different. She was already a star in her own right, a singer, actress, and fashion icon in France. But she had a grounded, quiet energy. Together, they were surprisingly low-key. They never got married. Depp has said more than once that they didn't need the piece of paper to prove anything. For him, they were already family. And they were a family, welcoming Lily-Rose in 1999 and Jack in 2002. Instead of raising their kids in Los Angeles or New York, Johnny and Vanessa chose France. Far from the paparazzi and the Hollywood machine, they gave their children a more anonymous, peaceful childhood. Johnny said he could have lived anywhere in the world, but for his kids, he secretly chose France. That says a lot. Their relationship lasted 14 years, a lifetime by celebrity standards. And even after they quietly separated in 2012, there was never a public war, no ugly headlines, just mutual respect. In fact, when Depp's reputation came under fire years later, Vanessa spoke out in his defense. In a letter, she called him a kind, attentive, generous, and non-violent person and father. It was a rare public statement, but a powerful one. Vanessa wasn't just a partner. She was a stabilizing force in Johnny's life. And even though they eventually went their separate ways, that chapter remains one of the calmest, most grounded parts of his personal story. Let's start with Lily-Rose Depp. Born on May 27, 1999 in Neuilly-sur-Seine, just outside of Paris, she grew up in a world very different from most kids. Her parents made the conscious decision to raise her and her brother in France, far from the paparazzi and chaos of Hollywood. According to her mom, Vanessa Paradis, they wanted their kids to enjoy a more private, grounded childhood. And where better to do that than the quiet, sunny south of France? But even with all that privacy, Lily-Rose was always going to draw attention. Why? Because she's practically a mirror image of her mother. Graceful, stylish, effortlessly cool, and she inherited her dad's intensity and charm. By the time she was a teenager, the spotlight came knocking, and she opened the door. Her big break came at just 15, when Karl Lagerfeld, the legendary designer behind Chanel, chose her as one of the brand's new faces. That's not just any modeling gig. That's modeling gig. Lagerfeld didn't just hand that kind of opportunity to anyone. From there, Lily-Rose's career took off. She appeared in indie films, French dramas, and eventually caught Hollywood's attention. Most recently, she starred in HBO's controversial series, playing a troubled pop star named Jocelyn opposite The Weeknd. And filming wasn't exactly your standard studio setup. One scene was shot live at The Weeknd's sold-out concert in Los Angeles. That's 70,000 people watching her, live, no pressure. She later said it felt like walking down the aisle at her wedding. She was in white, done up head to toe, and praying to every guardian angel she could think of. It was terrifying, but thrilling. Now, let's talk about her personal life. Being the daughter of Johnny Depp means there's always media interest. Lily-Rose has had her fair share of headlines, often centered around who she's dating. She's been linked to Timothée Chalamet, her co-star, and more recently, rapper 070 Shake. She's even been seen out with Austin Butler, sparking rumors after a very public kiss. But Lily-Rose doesn't seem too fazed by the attention. In fact, in an interview with she made it clear. She's not here to be defined by the men in her life, whether it's her famous dad or her boyfriends. She said, "I'm really ready to be defined by the things that I put out there." And honestly, she's been consistent about protecting her private thoughts. Even when the world was watching her dad's highly publicized legal battle with Amber Heard, Lily-Rose chose not to speak publicly about it. She explained that some things are too personal and too sacred to turn into public statements. Still, she did defend her dad once back in 2016, when the first allegations surfaced. She posted a childhood photo of them together, writing that Johnny Depp was the sweetest, most loving person she knew, and that he had been nothing but a wonderful father to her and her little brother. It's clear their bond runs deep. Now let's talk about the other Depp sibling, Jack Depp, whose real name is John Christopher Depp III. He was born on April 9, 2002, in the same town as Lily-Rose, and just like his sister, he was raised in France. But here's where things take a turn. Jack is the complete opposite of Lily-Rose when it comes to public life. He's stayed almost entirely out of the spotlight. No red carpets, no magazine covers, no interviews. In fact, there are only a handful of photos of him as an adult floating around the internet. And that's by design. Vanessa Paradis made it a priority to protect her kids' privacy. She once said that her children didn't ask to be famous, and she wanted to keep them away from cameras and headlines until and unless they chose to step into that world themselves. For Jack, that moment hasn't come, at least not yet. But don't mistake his privacy for a lack of talent. Johnny Depp has spoken about Jack's artistic side, saying his son is incredibly skilled at drawing and has a real gift for music. He plays multiple instruments and even started his own band. Depp once joked in an interview that when Jack told him the band's name was Clown Boner, he immediately knew, "Yep, that's my kid." It's a rare glimpse into Jack's personality, artistic, creative, and clearly carrying his dad's quirky sense of humor. Lily-Rose has said that she and Jack were incredibly close growing up. They always spoke French at home, and even used it as a secret language at school in the US whenever they wanted to keep things between them. And when Jack turned 18, Lily-Rose posted a throwback photo of the two of them as kids, calling him her heart and soul. If you enjoyed this deep dive, go ahead and give it a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, and tap the bell so you don't miss the next one. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.